You passed a silent test. Heaven just approved your breakthrough. Your obedience in private just opened a door the world will witness. That last sacrifice, it triggered the shift. The silence you endured unlocked angelic movement. God saw your last yes. The reward is en route. Because you didn't give up, favor found your name. Your last heartbreak whispered your next miracle into motion. You passed the storm. Now comes the scroll of joy. The final tear you cried was the final key you needed. They thought it broke you. It birthed your promise. Your name just echoed in a room you've never entered. The quiet decision you made lit up the heavens. The pain you didn't post just reached God's ears. You walked away when it hurt. That's what activated release. Your last prayer, shaky and raw, was the loudest in the spirit. You forgave when no one deserved it. That unlocked divine return. You chose integrity over applause. Heaven noticed. Your silence spoke louder than revenge. Now blessings shout. Your last fast shook something dark off your bloodline. You didn't retaliate. So now heaven will. Your quiet surrender just became your loud miracle. Because you stayed when it was hard, peace is on the way. Your restraint wasn't weakness, it was warfare. That final no to temptation opened heaven's yes. You released it. Now God can reward you. Because you loved clean, your next chapter will be holy. The seed you forgot you planted is blooming in secret. The last time you prayed through pain, you triggered a turnaround. You stopped chasing, and now everything is finding you. Your endurance whispered, they're ready now. You buried it in faith. God is raising it in glory. That last quiet act of kindness was recorded in full. You humbled yourself. Now elevation is hunting you. You didn't need closure. God needed obedience. You left empty. You'll return celebrated. Because you let them go, true joy can find you. The moment you stopped begging was the moment heaven released. You gave without needing to be seen. Heaven saw it all. That last tear was a signal. Help is now closer than fear. You walked away from what was toxic. Expect divine exchange. You chose healing. That decision is about to speak loudly. You let them have the last word. God's about to have his. Your surrender was your strategy. It worked. You made peace with the unknown. Now it carries a promise. You were still loyal when it hurt. Now love is returning purified. You outgrew the old. God is tailoring the new. You didn't fight for what left. What's coming won't need to be kept. You chose hope over bitterness. That just shifted your bloodline. The message is coming because your last decision made room for it. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote and subscribe for more. You didn't argue. That silence crowned you. You kept trusting. The reward is impatient now. You stayed soft. The universe is sending softness back. You gave when it hurt. Watch heaven return tenfold. You didn't chase. Now what's meant will kneel. You surrendered. So now the promise is coming surrendered, too. That yes cost you everything, but it bought destiny. You released bitterness. Now beauty is multiplying. You believed quietly. Now your miracle is roaring. You didn't perform for approval. That's what brought alignment. You refused revenge. Now restoration is scheduled. You blessed those who betrayed you. That echo is returning with gold. You stayed silent in storms. Now the wind carries your name. You didn't force it, so now it comes flowing. You prayed when no one knew. God just said yes. You let them go in peace. Now peace is finding you. You stopped explaining yourself. That silence created space for miracles. You healed in hiding. Now your story will heal nations. You didn't interrupt their goodbye. Heaven's preparing your hello. You fasted in tears. Now favor is flowing in secret. You forgave completely. Your new life starts immediately. You honored even in heartbreak. Heaven is honoring you back. You didn't fight to be chosen. Now destiny chooses you. You stayed hidden. Glory knows where to find you now. You spoke life. Now the soil is responding. You waited well. So now the wait is over. You trusted him with closed doors. He's opening the unknockable. You left gently. Return is coming forcefully. You sowed in silence. The harvest is loud. You protected what tried to harm you. Now protection surrounds you. You worshipped while wounded. Now healing will dance in your home. You let go in faith. That faith just bloomed. You endured loneliness. Now divine company is arriving. You remained holy in private. Glory will be public. You honored the unseen. Now you'll be seen with honor. You allowed death to pride. Now resurrection enters your life. You cried, but you didn't curse. That kept your name clean. You sacrificed the temporary. Now you're receiving the eternal. You blessed others' wins. Now your own is inevitable. You clapped for others. Now the heavens are clapping for you. You refused to copy. That's why you'll be crowned. You obeyed in confusion. Now clarity comes clothed in favor. You accepted the pruning. Now the fruit is undeniable. You stopped begging. Now you'll be begged for. You walked away from crumbs. A table is being prepared. You trusted the pause. Now it carries purpose. You spoke truth and lost people. Now truth is bringing destiny. You cried yes while trembling. Heaven heard it as thunder. You whispered your dreams to God. He's shouting them now. You poured into empty places. Now overflow is coming. You gave love with no condition. Now covenant is on its way. You honored his timeline. Now time is favoring you. You didn't demand closure. God just opened something better. You stayed small, but you're being called forward. You waited with grace. So now what's coming will carry grace. You were kind when it wasn't deserved. Now kindness follows you. You gave without receipts. Heaven's sending receipts now. You didn't defend yourself. God's about to speak for you. You chose purity. Now power is rushing in. You stopped idolizing timing. Now divine timing chooses you. You picked healing over being right. That made you royal. You outgrew them in silence. Now your space will expand. You honored the detour. The destination has just shifted closer. You let the storm pass. It left diamonds behind. You covered them in love. Now you're being clothed in glory. You outlasted the lie. Now truth is your reward. You didn't chase closure. God's giving you a fresh beginning. You waited for a green light. Heaven is flashing go. You made peace with the pain. Now peace is your portion. You sat in the dark with faith. Light is on the way. You didn't settle. That's why the best is speeding up. You trusted the ache. That ache now turns to announcement. You sowed joy into sorrow. Now joy is doubling back. You allowed the wound. Now watch the wonder. You released them lovingly. Love is now returning matured. You stayed clean in chaos. Now blessing can land. You stopped explaining your worth. Now it's speaking for itself. You died to the false timeline. Heaven is rewriting it. You walked past the counterfeit. The real is near. You sang through the silence. Now sound follows you. You wept but waited. Your reward carries wings. You planted peace in warfare. Now the land is singing. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more.